Going on, folks? Welcome back to the show. We got on and off pop-up showers, so at least I got my rain gear bottoms on, and I brought my chesty with me just in case. But we're gonna walk back to the swamp and see if we can get into some fish, either with a drop shot or a swim jig or some of these bottom bouncing swim baits like the Dark Sleeper and the Agent E or something. But let's largemouth fish. Tell you what, for this worm being black on one side and like supposed to be silver on the other, one trip done got this thing all kinds of fading color already. Nope. They had a little tail tugger going on. Don't ask me how, you guys. I think I just spooked whatever was sitting in here. Either that or I got beaver or something, muskrat or something active at my feet here. Oh man. Oh man, I didn't even see that down there. We're gonna go down there. Even though it sucks because I gotta keep the backpack on and all that stuff. But, man. Man, come on now. That was something swimming with it. I'm gonna lose my worm if I ain't careful. Look at all that open water down there though. It does get a little deeper right there. Right in that cabbage. I don't want it in there. Oh, yes I did. Alright, drop shot fish. Not the biggest fish, but you're shallow. I seen you come out of that patch for one of my two junebug. Freaking well, dang dude, you can let you. He quick released himself. Yep. You sure did. Well, on board. Well, folks, I'm not going to risk losing that last of my 1/8 ounce tungsten ball drop shot weights, and it's starting to rain. And also Dave T just asked me if I want to go fishing tomorrow, so we're gonna make this a technique of the week since I'm way behind on those, the Wacky rigged drop shot. And when we get back to the fishing lab, I'll show y'all how I rig it up from scratch. See you back. Hey folks, so as you can see with this clip here, you see if a different lineup will help. Well, I doubt it. You never know though. I'm looking for some of my old baits that I lost in here. dealing with some heavy rain today. So what better time than now to show y'all how I rig up a drop shot and what gear I throw it on, especially when we're going to do it wacky rigged. So it's all the same way no matter what bait you're putting on the end of the hook. This right here happened to be a Strike King Baby Z2. So we'll just cut all this off and I'll show you how I do it from scratch. So it all starts with this dude right here, which is a No.1 Finesse Hayabusa drop shot hook. And what I'm going to do is take my line here, run through that line tie, and I'm going to tie a Palomar knot. But I'm going to leave a lot of tag end because eventually that's going to be the bottom of your drop shot rig where your sinker goes. So what I like to do is make me a big old loop here, as you can see. Look at how big that loop is. And then I'm going to tie my knot. So one thing about tying a Palomar is you never want it to be flipped over on top of itself. So I'm going to bring this through. Until we get the old Mobius strip infinity looking loop that you see right there. See it? Now I'm going to wet it and cinch it down in my mouth. That way it's nice and lubricated. And we got all this tag end to work with as far as how far we want to adjust our leader for our drop shot weight. Now this here is the most pivotal part for me. After my Palomar knot is tied, I'm going to take my tag end and go back through the line tie, even though there's already a knot tied in there. And I'm just going to pull on both ends a little bit to make sure that my hook point sits like that when I pull on it. Because what this hand is representing is the weight at the bottom, and then my top hand is representing, you know, me fishing it through the water column. Excuse me. And there being tension on the line, you know, to make the bait, give the bait some action or whatever. But you see the hook is oriented in the right spot once you run that line back through the line tie. Okay. So if I'm fishing semi-deep, whether it's off a boat or the bank, you have to remember that, especially from the bank, your presentation is going to be angled more, right? It's going to be more like this instead of where if you were off a boat, it'd be a little more like vertical. So who knows? Being that it's a rainy day off and on, I'll probably be bank fishing today because I cannot stand getting caught in the rain on a boat. It sucks. What I'm going to do though, at the bottom, where in a couple spots where I think I'm going to attach my drop shot weight, is I'm just going to tie an overhand knot in the line. But I'm going to tie a couple of them. I'm going to tie one more on the little guy down here towards the bottom, the very end of the tag. And what that's going to do is give me 2 different spots that I can put my weight, because it's a clip-on weight. And what these are is they act like stoppers. So if I want to use that last spot there, I'm going to run it through the opening on the sinker to that very first overhand knot. I'm going to put that through there. If that's where I wanted to fish it. And then I'm going to pull it through, and then pull up on it, and that clips it in place. And what that little overhand knot acts like is a stopper. You see right there? That means it won't slip past that knot. See that? I hope you guys can see that, because that's really helpful. It's helpful when you're fighting a fish and they're jumping and flipping around. A lot of times that's when you're going to lose your clip-on weights, is when the fish jump. And also the fish will tell you if you got your sinker at the right depth on your line. Because if you got it at the right weight or at the right spot, you are getting bites. If you got it in the wrong spot, nothing's touching your presentation and you're not getting bit. So you can move it to that second overhand knot and pull up. And that shortens it. And you can leave all this on there, because believe me guys, no fish is going to swim up to your presentation and go, oh look, he left, you know, a huge tag end on his bullet weight with overhand knots in it. Not happening. You know, sometimes when it's really shiny, that's why I like to use lead. If you're using tungsten, sometimes they'll bite at the tungsten because it's shiny. I like to use lead, pencil, that's what they call these, pencil weights, because number one, they're affordable, and you don't just get 2 in a pack for $7 like you do with tungsten. You get, let's say, 5 for $2.99, even in Joe Biden's America. So that's not so bad. Now we'll go back up to our presentation here where our hook's sitting, and you see it's sitting fine. It sits like that in the water. And now I'm going to take a 4-inch Senko and I'm going to fold it in half. Shout out to AP Outdoors for giving me these Senkos. He's a local bait maker that lives right down the road, and he makes some awesome stuff, including big swim baits, soft plastic swim baits. And I'm going to fold the worm in half, and then I'm going to put the hook point through it. And there you have the Wacky rig Senko. Now that could be a little bit centered a little better. It's favoring one side a little bit. There we go. You would not believe how weedless this is in the grass. Because since you have a worm that is like an upside down U pushing a path through the grass, it keeps your hook point clean. It really does, you guys. It's amazing. Now you can use a fixed weight you know, like a casting sinker, the old bass casting sinkers, water gremlin, whatever, Ozark Trail, it don't matter. But the thing is, if you get the weight wrong and the length wrong, you're gonna have to cut and retie, and this little bit of line here is gonna run out really fast. So that means you'll have to retie a whole leader if you're like me, throwing braid to leader. If not, you're in good shape. You'll just have to retie until you figure it out. But again, the fish will let you know. So I told y'all I'd show you, even though it's in the drop shot playlist. Some people might rig theirs different, but if you look at my drop shot playlist, I've always rigged it this way. And I can put some fish on the bank or in the boat with a drop shot. So apparently it looks good to them, good enough to eat. So it must look halfway decent underwater, or else I wouldn't be catching fish.